Hey, my main objective is to do some monoprinting today, but I'm going to start off with some charcoal, and it basically is going to just be some practice. This is kind of a warm-up. I was going to use it to do the monoprint, but as you'll see in a few minutes, it didn't really happen the way I planned. So if you're new here, please subscribe. If you have been here before but haven't hit the little bell button, you need to hit that bell so you'll get notifications on future videos. If you enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up. I need those thumbs up to let YouTube know that these videos are important and that they are helpful. Without the thumbs up, without hitting that thumbs up button, YouTube doesn't know to tell other people about it. So please give it a thumbs up. So I've got a photograph that I'm working from, and I'm trying to get pretty close to the photograph. And in the charcoal, it's pretty easy. Pretty easy. I'm used to working with charcoal. Charcoal is pretty direct, and also I'm just trying to get the best charcoal drawing of her as I can. However, you'll see later on when I go to do the monoprint is not as direct. The monoprint does not look like her very much. In fact, doesn't look like her at all, really. But just stay tuned and you'll see the monoprint in a little while. My goal or my idea was that I would do this charcoal sketch and then I would put it behind some plexiglass, and then I would roll water-soluble oil paint over it and still be able to see the charcoal through the paint. I was wrong. Yesterday I did a monoprint and I could see through the blue pretty well. The blue was kind of transparent, but the color I mixed on this monoprint was a lot more opaque, and I could not see the charcoal through it like I thought I could. So I ended up not really paying attention to the original charcoal that I drew, that I'm drawing here, but I thought it was still kind of worth putting on the video. It did help because I had drawn in charcoal first. I kind of had a pretty good idea of what the face looked like, where the shadows were, where the highlights were, what the hair was like, and so on. And it gave me something to go by mentally, if not actually tracing it. Plus I also had the photograph to look at to do the monoprint with. So if you're not familiar with monoprinting is basically putting paper on top of wet paint and pulling it off, and you only get one print out of it. So that's why it's called monoprinting, one print. But there's a bunch of different ways you can do it, and this is kind of a technique I've been working on for a while. I'm not the first one to do it, but I've been trying it out. But since I'm working in charcoal right here, let me tell you, the charcoal is kind of awesome. I'm not a big fan of the mess that charcoal makes, and obviously I don't like how I get it all over my fingers, but man, if you're an artist, you might as well just go ahead and give yourself to being a mess. All right, you're going to get mess on your hands. The great thing is you can always wash your hands. Don't be afraid of making a mess. Don't be afraid of the chalk or the charcoal, the paint. Don't be afraid of all that. Just jump in there. You can wash your hands when you're done. Anyway, but charcoal is great because you can put down a lot of color or a lot of black really fast and a lot of shadow, and once you get used to it, it's really good material to work with. So I tried to get this as close to the actual drawing as I could, the actual photograph. It's not too bad. The hair was, pretty crazy, so there's a lot of kind of symbolism there in the hair. Tried to draw what I saw in the picture as much as possible, but simplify it. There's the finished charcoal. So I decided for this one to mix up my own color. I put a piece of plexiglass in front of the charcoal drawing, and I was hoping to be able to see through the paint. But you'll see the color that I mix up is a little too opaque for that. To make this color, I mixed a little bit of French ultramarine blue, a little bit of burnt sienna, and some white. And I really put too much blue and not enough of the burnt sienna. And I kept having to add more burnt sienna, more burnt sienna, and more burnt sienna, which is okay, because if I hadn't done it the way I had, I probably wouldn't have had enough paint to begin with. So I just kept adding more and more burnt sienna until I got a color that wasn't so blue. As some of y'all know, I'm colorblind anyway, so doing a color that actually matched her skin tone or anything like that would have been sort of near impossible for me. I do like how the color turned out though. And so as you can see, it's too dark to see through, so I just kind of free-handed the whole thing and wiped away the lights. So I've done a couple of videos recently where you work in reverse, white on black. And I didn't know that I was doing that to help me with this project or to help me with this monoprinting. But as it turns out, it was really, really helpful. I had been working with white Prismacolor or white chalk on black paper. You can see some of the videos that I did on that. And then I used that kind of technique to do this. I wiped away everything that I wanted to be white or lighter. If I wanted it to be lighter but not white, then I did not wipe away all of the oil paint. I just wiped it away a little bit, and then if I wanted it to be white, I usually went back a second time with paper towels. I'm using paper towels to wipe this away for the most part. I did almost everything with paper towel. And in a little bit, you'll see me go into it with a paintbrush. And I'm using the paintbrush to kind of put paint back where I had wiped it off. I basically used the paintbrush to put paint back. And then I came back with a Q-tip, and I used the Q-tip to take some more paint off. So I didn't like the way I'd done the lips, and I kind of messed it up right there. So I got the paintbrush out, and I started tweaking it and putting paint back right here. And then I got a Q-tip, and I used the Q-tip to kind of fix things. That's a paper towel again. So you can put paint back. Here I am putting it back on the side of the nose a little, and then wiping some away. Fix the eyes a little bit with this paintbrush. So once you have removed paint, that doesn't mean you can't put paint back. And so that's sort of the I don't know that you could call it erasing. I'm sort of erasing, and then I'm putting the paint back, and then is putting the paint back erasing, or is wiping the paint off erasing? I don't know. It's a little bit of both. Anyway, I think it turned out pretty good. Again, it doesn't look really just like her or anything. It's a different person, but I think it has a lot of feeling to it, and it's interesting. I don't think it turned out too bad. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. If you've got any ideas or suggestions, if you've ever done monoprinting before, let me know if there's something I need to do differently. I took another brayer that was clean, and I used it to roll a piece of white drawing paper on. Every now and then I would check it to make sure everything I wanted to print had printed. And then when I was done, I took it off, and there it is. Like I said, I think it turned out pretty good, especially for the few monoprints that I've done. I hope that I can do some more of these and get better at it. Got to do a million of them to get good, right? Anyway, that's how I did it. Hope it was helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, if you found it helpful, and comment in the comment section down below. Go make some art.